Hi there, I hope you are doing well, and greetings from the African Research and Impact Network. I hope you are keeping safe even as we continue fighting this COVID-19 pandemic. Mine is to encourage you that we have come a long way, and I think we are seeing some good success in terms of fighting this disease. So let's continue doing the good things that we've been doing. Let's continue observing the directives, the behavioral changes that are expected of us, so that the gains that we have got in the last few weeks in the fight against this pandemic are not basically eroded. Because if we go back to normal so quickly, the possibility that we are going to then just kick off some of these gains that we've had is very high. So in this week's review, we looked into our knowledge systems and how it affect our response to COVID-19. Knowledge systems in this case are basically ways in which we produce knowledge, information. How do we disseminate the information, and how is the information taken up by who, and what are the impacts that we are seeing? And is that chain of information, the way it is being relayed, effective enough to help us fight COVID-19? So I'm going to welcome one of our researchers, Ms. Nora Ndege, to give us some highlights, and I hope to again see you next week. Thank you.
My name is Nora Ndege from the African Center for Technology Studies. Over the past 2 years, we have been undertaking a study on understanding knowledge systems and what works to promote science, technology, and innovation. Africa has adapted various strategies. For example, the Science, Technology, Innovation Strategy 2024 to guide its vision 2063. There's need to ensure that the gains that have been made over the past are actually enhanced, and we see COVID-19 as one of the unprecedented challenges that, if not managed well, might reverse the gains that Africa has made. So this particular week, we discussed how COVID-19 is reshaping opinions of African knowledge systems. And by knowledge systems, we understand ways in which new knowledge is produced, disseminated, and used for impact. One, we need to see more investments and increased investments in research. Africa currently contributes only 0.6% of its investments in research, which is quite low compared to other parts of the world. So we need to see more investments in research, because actually Africans policymakers have appreciated the role of research in informing COVID-19. Number two, we need to see more proper-led knowledge mechanisms. This is because knowledge is power, and it has influenced behavioral changes among various people. So we need to see these initiatives being supported and finding their ways to bring about more impact in terms of decision making. Number three, we need to ensure much more partnerships, because this endemic is affecting all aspects of life, and various sectors have been affected. For example, the food and nutrition security of the continent is actually a risk because of this particular endemic. We also see that a third of both formal and informal jobs are actually going to be affected by this endemic. And so there's need to ensure more partnerships, more cross-sectoral approaches being adopted to find solutions for this endemic. Number four, we need to see research actually linking better to proper innovations. We have seen locally driven solutions coming up. For example, designing and making of ventilators, masks, which have actually been done a lot from locally driven ways. So we need to ensure that research better links to these proper innovation going forward. Number five is how we communicate and disseminate information. we have seen varieties of ways being adopted to actually bring about messages that are affecting and leading to behavior change. One is adoption of actually fourth industrial revolution technology. For example, we see drones flying everywhere, bringing and communicating messages. We see use of arts, and bringing out messages. We see locally driven ways of communicating at various community levels, and so there's need to ensure that messages and research is packaged in a way for public utility. And number 6, we have seen, and this is my last point, we have seen lots of informal led innovations. And what we are saying is that the informal knowledge systems is actually a fringe opportunity for Africa to further develop and advance. This is because of the solution that is actually being proposed using the Madagascar herbal tonic remedy. This is one of the fringe initiatives that need to be supported and be embedded more into the formal scientific ways of actually coming up with solutions. So if we can promote these informal led processes and facilitate their interactions with formal led ways, I think as Africa we stand a better chance in terms of ensuring and bringing about sustainability to the continent. Thank you very much for joining us today.